didn't say bride, I said bride, right? Because we get married to all our clients. I would like to introduce to you my husband and wife. Yeah, baby, right? Listen, these guys are freaking amazing. Rachel is a powerhouse by herself. Joseph is a servant from the day I met him. That's how he's been. He reminded me a lot of myself. Now, what's even worse in a good way is that we were both Marines. And if you served in the military, you almost have this camaraderie. If you serve as a Marine, it's game over. It's like, whatever. So without any further ado, my amazing brother and his lovely wife, Joseph and Rachel James, y'all. They're about to crush you. Get the tissues out. Love you, girl.
I love you too.
I'm gonna move this thing out of my way because I will trip over that thing. Okay, I will trip over the carpet, so believe me. All right, well first, I just wanna thank everybody. I wanna thank Dr. Obam and Afia and Anna for allowing the two of us to come up here and just serve you guys. But I also thank each and every one of you because a couple of truths here is you're all taking time out of your schedules, your homes, your family time to come here and grow. I mean, that's ultimately what we're here for. And I also thank you for allowing us to be able to be a part of this, not only for Dr. Obama as a partner and for the Underdog Millionaire and the Minting Club and the Mastermind, but to allow us to be able to impart into you guys that prayerfully you'll take something out of this. So today we're going to talk about building a successful marriage God's way, okay? And I couldn't do it with any other than what God gave me as my beautiful queen, my lovely wife, Rachel.
Thank you,
So,
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And together we're going to talk about, we're going to deliver to you guys 3 principles and understanding how God created a marriage to live in terms of creation, but how he created us in his divine purpose to bring holiness to him. And, you know, with that comes the aspect of breaking those crazy marriage cycles, getting to know and understand why we go from, or why we can go from healthy to shattered, or even what we love to be able to do is go from a shattered to a healthy marriage. And getting rid of and understanding what causes us to be ticked at each other, but also what causes us to disconnect from each other. And so one example, you know, we didn't, I've shared this example before, but one example for us is we didn't have this knowledge and this understanding, this wisdom when we first started out. You know, it was listen, everything was great about our relationship. Everything. I mean, it couldn't have been better text. If you pulled it up in the Encyclopedia the Britannica, you know, the old school ones, right? You know, and you looked at marriage, you would have saw a relationship, you would have saw a picture of us for the first 7 days.
Yeah. True story.
Okay, true story. Because on day 8 when we met, it wasn't that case anymore.
No.
And somebody ripped that page out, okay? But, you know, the grateful thing is, you know, when we started to apply the things that we were learning, did things start changing? And I'm so grateful that we're here now because I've got a question, all right? And I'm gonna talk to the men in the room real quick, all right? Men, how many of you have ever felt you went through something with your spouse or a significant other or even anybody else, and whatever happened, you had in your mindset that it was gonna go one way and it didn't, and you felt completely disrespected? How many of that? Ever felt disrespected? Okay, 3 of you in the room. Great. All right. Then on the flip side.
Ladies, have you ever said anything with the best intentions, but it created disconnection, leaving you feeling unloved and unheard? Yeah, me too. What if I could tell you that we could build both worlds, that we could really listen, understand, honor each other, and build value in our marriage, where us ladies felt loved and you men felt respected? What would that be worth to you? Not in just your communication, but how you show up in your life's work, how it can impact every area of your life, not in the way we feel, not in just the way that we feel in our relationships, but with our children, our friends, our family. Who here today is ready for that to take place in your life? I know I am. Come on. So before I go and let you take the reins, I just wanted to say how excited we are to share these principles with you that has helped work for us to create the love and respect and the harmonious communication in our marriage. All right, babe. Knock him dead, honey.
Is she a rock star? Man, I'm like, I can leave now. Well, like we said, 3 principles that we want to discuss with you guys today that will not only get you to understand how God created marriage, but how the things that we are missing in life, because there's several of you here in the room that have been married for quite a while. And you know, growing up in a very abusive family, I thought that by the number of years somebody was married, that was success. You know, and it's very easy to measure success because when we're at a business conference, what's one of the number one questions that people normally ask is, who's been in business for 5 years? Who's been in business for 10? Who's been in business? Who's made 6 figures? Who's made, and we create that as a level of success. And it is, there's no doubt that it is, okay? But when I really begin to understand how God created relationships and how God designed a marriage to be, did I realize that years didn't matter at all. And so one of the very first principles I want to talk to you today about is knowledge, okay? Knowledge is the information, okay? It's gathering of information that we can eventually later on implement. Number 2 is the understanding. Because if we don't have anything to understand, we can't comprehend what we need to work on. And the third one, well, I'm going to cover that towards the end. And so both of these principles that I'm going to cover over the next few minutes is to really get you to a place of thinking to where you're currently at and where you can go. Because isn't that the point of this mastermind right here? Is to knowing and understanding where you're at and then also seeing, it's almost like the bridge in the rainbow, okay? It's the pot of gold at the end. Dr. Obam has told us all about the pot of the gold, right? The 12 months, the 7 figures, okay? And it's not just about the finances, even though that is a goal, but it's about everything that comes in between. It's about how we get from point A to Z. Because how many of you are visionaries in the room? You're a true visionary, okay? I've always said that I'm a visionary, and a visionary is one of those people that we can see the bridge going from one island to the next. But a lot of visionaries lack what? They lack the ability to be able to create the steps to get there. They truly do. And that's why a lot of visionaries will partner with architects. Because the architect is, once you tell them, and I love working with Justice and Stephen back there, is because I share the vision and they're like, man, I can take that vision and I can run with it, because not only are they visionaries, but they're also architects and they're able to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And so knowledge, going back to my points here, is knowledge is what I call inside the garden. Now we're going to talk about marriage for a few minutes. If you think about, for those that know the story, Adam and Eve, God's first creation, God created Adam first. Eve came along. There's no time period of when she actually came. It's on, according to the Bible, it's on the 6th day, okay? But inside the garden, the marriage, what God created and put together was peace, harmony. The spirit of the two together shared the same spirit as God, and then also unbroken fellowship. Now, how many have ever experienced just peace in a relationship? I have. Okay? How many of you felt like it was really great and you never wanted it to end? Okay? But the thing about knowledge is this right here. We have to know and understand what the foundation is of what a marriage is supposed to look like. Whether it's talking about margin with the funding, talking about field with the mass method. We have to know and understand and have the knowledge to know, number one, where we're at. Because not only is the lack of vision people perish, but with the vision also comes knowledge. Okay? So inside the marriage garden, Adam and Eve inside the garden, there was peace, there was harmony. There was one flesh. Okay? They didn't have to worry about being the same spirit because that came with the aspect of being created in the image and likeness of God. There was one spirit right then. And then the unbroken fellowship. But let me tell you what happens when we live outside of the relationship that God created with us, because I know there's some single people in here. Where's all my single people at? All the single ladies and men? Throw your hands up, okay? I'm not Obama, I don't sing, all right? But the relationship that you have with God was still created in the garden, because when Adam was created, there was a relationship between him and God before Eve ever came into the picture. There must have been such a dynamic relationship that God not only just created Adam, but he truly knew Adam, because he said what? Adam, I know you're never going to ask the question, but you need help. I'm going to give you a woman. Because you know men are going to ask for help, right? No, none of the men agree. All right, but this is what happens when we're outside the garden. Outside the garden came sin, came shattered harmony with God and each other, blaming, lying. When God came and presented himself to Adam, the first thing he said is, Adam, where are you? Okay? When we're outside the will of God, we run in fear. We were not created to live in fear, because love casts out all fear. Love is God. God is love. So as long as we have God in our heart, we should not be fearing. But that's exactly what happened. Adam ran. They both ran and hid. Okay? And then when he confronted, what did Adam do? All right? Eve was the one that ate the fruit first. She was deceived, but why did he come to Adam? Men, we're the head of our household. We're the leaders of our house. You're not married now? Become a leader. Getting quiet in this church. I hear a pin drop on that. Where's my amen crowd at? I want to hear no amen.
Amen.
All right, what did he do? It was she. Went the blaming. Then it became the lying. They were lying about each other. So that's what happens outside the garden. But here's the thing. God's design of marriage was going off of the context of being in the garden. Now, I'm going to step on a little bit of toes here, so y'all be careful. All right? I'll get forgiveness later. Might be my last time speaking. I don't know. All right? But here's the thing. Why do marriages not work today? Because we go to the altar and we believe that, okay, if I'm in relationship with God and my wife is in a relationship with God, then we're perfectly fine. And that's far from it. God has to truly be the center of your marriage. Because if not, you're not living inside. I'm going to go back. You're not living inside the premise and the understanding of what God built a biblical marriage on, and that was the premise of being inside the garden. What we do is we have God on our side. God lives in my heart. We're in relationship. We go to church. We go to the church. We get the pastor, the priest, or the minister to marry us, and we think we're inside the garden, when truly what we're doing is we're still living outside the garden. And we wonder why our marriages are shattered. We wonder why even that we can stay married for 20, 30, 40 years and learn to live with each other, because it happens. Okay, I grew up in that family where my parents learned to live with each other. Dad slept on the couch, mom slept upstairs. It was the whole dad snores thing. Okay, wakes up mom. All right, well, I'm smart enough to know what that really meant now. Okay, but they were living outside of the garden. They weren't putting God first in their relationship. They weren't putting God first in who they were called to be. And so it's very easy, and this is exactly where Rachel and I found ourselves even before getting married, as we were outside the garden. But yet we wanted God to bless our relationship. We wanted God to bless our marriage. We went to church faithfully. That wasn't the problem. Every day I prayed. Every day I worshiped. But every day I still wanted to do my own thing. I wanted God there, but I wasn't willing to make the sacrifice to be like, you know what, God? I'm going to go and be inside the garden, because, yeah, I believed in peace and harmony and equality, but like I said on day 8, okay, peace, harmony, and equality was no longer in the picture. And then I began to think, is it even truly possible? And so, but here was the thing. What I didn't truly know was this right here, even based off of a 14-year marriage before my wife passed away, is I didn't know that the knowledge, Dr. Obama, I didn't have the knowledge to know and understand what a biblical, godly marriage was supposed to look like. And so if you truly, for those that are going to get married in the future, and even those that are, if you want to truly know and understand what a biblical marriage looks like, look in chapters 1 and 2 of Genesis. It talks about everything you need to know about a biblical marriage and how God created Adam, okay, to be the headship, not rulership, headship. Headship is nothing more than leadership. Why was Adam the man to be head over his home? Can anybody answer that? To be head over his, was he stronger than Eve? Physically? Possibly. Okay? You look at Rachel, and we could probably argue that between me and her. Okay? She's in the gym every day. All right? Okay? But it wasn't because of being physical. Was he intellectually smarter? Is that why God put him at the head of his wife? No. The only logical answer that there could possibly be is God just created Adam first. That was it. That was it, because here's the thing. When we are created in the likeness and image of God, you and I, likeness and image of God, we're equal. But what does the world tell us? She's black, I'm white. She can't get the jobs that I can get. She's a female, I'm a male. She can't get the jobs that I can get. And socially, that's the picture that's painted. So what it does to her is it pushes the pressure on her. It's like, you know what? I need to be better, and I need to go get that CEO job to outdo the man in my life, possibly, or even other men. Because that is the way living outside the garden, back to this, was what has been formed. God, the only reason why Adam was even in place is because he was created first. There'd probably be a lot better things done in this world if woman was created first. Okay, I'm not going to lie. All right? There's no doubt that Adam was wandering around the Garden of Eden completely lost. Okay? I know I'm supposed to name all these animals and all these trees and all the things of the earth, God, but I don't know which one is which. Okay? And of course, what did he say? God's like, I see that you need a helpmate. And I bring, why was Eve pulled out of the rib of Adam? Why not the head? Why not the feet? Why not the back? Because God didn't create her or him to be ahead of each other. God didn't pull bones out of Adam's foot so that man can be on top of his woman and her be underneath him. God didn't do it from the back because she was never meant to be behind him. God did it from the closest place to the heart so they would be side by side. Not just equal, but also in the same spirit, because when they were created in the likeness and image of God, they didn't have to worry about being spiritually connected. They already were. But that was inside the garden. And the moment they stepped outside of the garden, the moment they sinned, the moment they sinned, that's where outside the garden came to be. Because how many have read in the Word of God where it says man is not to rule over, we're not to rule over anybody except for animals, the fields, the earth itself, the fish and the birds, okay? But when Adam and Eve, here's the crazy thing. When Adam and Eve sinned and God punished them, how did he punish women? Painful childbirth. He said, you will have pain from your womb. And then he also says, and man will rule over woman. So where do we get the flip side of the domination of a male figure ruling over women? Because it was outside the garden that it happened. So when we're supposed to truly live in the marriage that God created, you should never see a man ruling over a woman, because that's unbiblical. But yet we see it every day. We see it in the world. Man is now the identity of a man. I won't get into all that, okay? This is about the skinniest pair of pants you'll ever see me wear. And listen, they stretch, okay? All right? So that is, I like them too. I'm getting used to them, but that's my cutting point, okay? That is it, all right? Okay? But we have identity crisis. Society is creating men to be a weaker version and women a stronger version. It was never about physicality. It was never about intellectual. It was simply that God created Adam first, and God put him over headship of the family. We have to truly know and understand those things if we want to live in a successful relationship. And here's the thing. Some of you are like, well, I've been married for 30 years. Some of you are like, I have not married at all. This same thing that I'm talking about today can be applied in everyday life, no matter what the subject is. Am I right, Dr. Obama?
Yep.
How do we create $1 million business? Got to have knowledge. Got to have knowledge and understanding how to do it. And talking about understanding, go this way. Understanding is our second principle. Understanding is nothing but the comprehension of knowledge. Okay? God created us equal. Kelly, you and I are equal. Sanish, you and I are equal. But guess what? We're different. God did not create us to think the same. He did not create us to look the same. He did not create us to act the same. But yet we're equal. And we truly have to know and understand that even though some of you here in the room may be making more money than other people, we're still equal, Michael. We're still equal, Michael. Both Michaels, right? We're still equal, Jason, no matter what. We're just different in the way that we do things. And so ultimately, we have the way we're different is my view on how I see my world and Rachel's view or a woman's view on how she sees her world.
Hold up. I need to get in on this. Because I need to represent all the ladies in the room. You know what I mean? So speaking about his view and her view, yes, God did create us to be equal, but yet we are so different. And what I mean by that is, like I said earlier, women, we need love. And men, they need to be respected. So when it comes to our views, I see through pink.
And I see blue. I also hear blue.
And I hear pink.
And so with that, we know and understand that this right here, by the way we see each other differently, by my views and her views, we're created equally, but yet what do a lot of couples do going into a relationship? You want to know why the very first argument started? She had just broken up with a guy about 2 or 3 weeks prior, and she was still kind of in the healing. And I'm like, well, my view is you need to block the dude. You don't need any part of this dude in your life. If you already broken up with him because of XYZ, am I right? Mark, am I right? What? I'm protecting her, right?
And I felt like he was trying to control the situation. Like,
maybe.
I'm like, you coming into my life telling me what to do? And I'm like, no, so my view was that he was trying to control, but his view, he was trying to just help me and protect me and support me through it.
And that started our first argument.
And it really
lasted
did.
For 2 more years.
That's what it did it.
But here's the crazy thing about views, and I love this, is we know that communication or the lack thereof can really hurt relationships, okay? And not just talking about a marital relationship, but also business, okay? I know that all right, here's a great example, okay? I was in an event about 8 months ago, and I said the word submit. Wives, submit to your husbands, okay?
Big one.
All right? The last word he ever spoke, okay? Submit, watch this. My epitaph on my gravestone, right? And I had this lady, she goes, bleh, and then gets up and walks out.
She did.
Okay, true story. Got it on video. And he was there.
He was, yeah.
Okay? And, but here was the thing. I was able to have, instead of like, pardon me, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to go up to this event host and I'm going to tell them that person never needs to be allowed in an audience like this again. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Holy Spirit, what am I supposed to do? And he said, go up and talk to her. And instead of me going up and approaching her from my point of view, I put on the pink sunglasses. And I asked her, I says, I see that I triggered you. Can you tell me what happened? And she began to tell me, and it was a trifecta of a storm that I was set up for, pretty much. Okay? The whole event, the host talked about veterans. I happen to be one. Dr. Obam happens to be one. So that was strike one. Then, of course, I'm talking about marriages, strike two. Then number three is I said the word submit, okay? All right, and that was strike three, because for her, her husband was a veteran, okay, that she was married to, that believed submission was, you're going to do what I say, when I say it, how I say it, and don't ask questions. And that is not the biblical word for submit, it's respect. So how does she submit to? By respecting me. Because we all know, men, why do we get into trouble sometimes in an argument? We feel disrespected because she says something to me, and then what do I do back to her? I don't show her any love, simply based on our point of view. So I want to help you in your communication, especially you guys out here. Women like to talk in code.
The grass is getting kind of high.
No, we want to try to read our mind.
Trying to read our mind? So what would be something that you say in code?
The grass is getting kind of high.
What she's really saying, guys, is somebody needs to go cut the grass. You. Okay?
Laundry's piling up.
What she's really saying is, need to wash the clothes. Okay? I haven't been on a date in a while.
I know this one.
Me neither.
What she's really saying and meaning is, I want you to take me out on a date.
Take me out.
Okay? But here's the thing. Ladies, let me help you out. Okay? Dr. Obama, I think he put it up, but he broke out the board, the drawing board the other day, and in it, I saw it immediately. And the instructions were in pictures.
Yeah.
So I knew right away that a man wrote those instructions. I'm serious. Next time you go to put something together, look at the instructions. If it's written out, a woman wrote it. If it's in pictures, a man wrote it. So ladies, you want to learn to communicate. There are some that are exceptions to the rule, Julie. Okay? But you want to learn how to communicate. Ladies, draw him pictures. Okay? We get it so much better. Okay? It's like the guy that went to the grocery store. And he's got, I'm going to use your book for a second here. He's got the grocery list. And on the grocery list is every item taped to it so he knows what to get. It wasn't granola bars, milk, eggs. It was potato glued to the board. Like, well, I know I can't mess that up. Okay? Oh, granola bars. It's the Nature Valley granola bars, not just any granola bar. Okay? So ladies, us men learning pictures. And I want you to share a little bit more about your view on things.
Sure, absolutely. So when it comes to ladies' views, there comes a point when we have to take off our glasses and we have to exchange each other's. So we'll go ahead and do that. And this is probably going to be, I know, these are really dark, I'm not gonna lie.
Everything's pink.
This is probably like, and I'm going to be very honest and vulnerable right here. This was tough for me. This was very, very tough for me because I didn't want to necessarily see it in his view because of everything that I had been subjected to earlier in life and in my previous marriage that unfortunately led to divorce. I didn't want to see it in his perspective because that was wrong. You know, no, it's mine. But then when we got to a point when we switched, I was able to see it from his perspective and I'm like, oh, okay. But then he was able to see it from mine. And then oh my gosh. Harmonious, thank you. Communication, tongue twister there, started to develop and I started to not like how it was for me where I can sit here and I can express myself and he can express his self, and we can both see each other's perspective and learn and grow in that environment. One thing about his and her view is God created men, commanded men to love, and women are commanded to respect. Okay, and I'm explaining a little bit deeper. Can I take these off for a second?
Yeah, you
I can
can.
see so much better with them off. Okay, all right, sorry. So with that, in Ephesians 5:25, God said, husbands, love your wives like God loved the church, okay? He commanded men to love because he created men to respect naturally. It's just part of their
the way we were born.
DNA, okay? Women, in Ephesians 5:33, Paul says, and let their wives see that she respects her husband, because God created women naturally to love. It's just part of our DNA. So of course we're going to be commanded to respect, because that's something that he has and that's a need. And he's going to be commanded to love because that's something that we have and that's a need. So when it becomes to develop that love and respect, his, her, and her views both go hand in hand with everything, and it creates this beautiful cycle. And it takes a shattered marriage that was once out of the garden and it brings it back into the garden. And that's our journey. And that is how we were able to, the first 7 days, feel that harmony, the peace, the awesomeness, and then that out of the garden happened. And it took some time, but we found ourselves back into the garden when we, one, allowed God to lead. And submission. Submission is a big word, and it could ruffle some feathers. But when you truly understand that, for me, I could stand here and say that I am honored to submit to him. And I'll tell you why. Because I know that he is led by God. And by him submitting to God, I have no problem with submitting to him, because he doesn't control me. He doesn't tell me what to do, okay? And the thing is, it's like we both are here. We both keep each other accountable, and we walk through, because I'm his helpmate. So there are going to be times when he's going to need help, and I'm going to be there. There's going to be times when he has these questions. I'm going to be there. So it's really important to grasp that love and respect, that women are commanded to respect and men are commanded to love. Because us women, you know, if you speak to us a certain way or you come at us a certain way, automatically, boom, we're going to feel unloved. And what is that going to do? What is that going to trigger? We're going to have an attitude. We're going to be like, whatever. And then you're going to be like, why is she acting this way? When in fact, it's the lack of love, just because you felt disrespected in that moment, right? Same thing, opposite goes for men. Let me tell you, they did a study where they asked 7,000 couples, how do they feel about their spouses and significant others during a conflict? And to my surprise, 83% of men felt disrespected and 72% of women felt unloved. And I'm like, to me, we live in a world where there's so much hurt and there's so much pain and there's so much separation and division, that is why we're here to bring that back. That is why we want to take the shattered marriages and really pull it in and really explain and teach and coach what it really truly is, what it means to have a garden marriage. Like in the garden marriage, I guess we could say that.
Yeah. You know, and another thing about, you know, the love and, you know, the reason why men are created, like Rachel said about, you know, God commanded us to love, because it's not our nature to love. I can sit there and tell Michael that I love him, and it's a phileo love, a brotherly love, okay? But I was commanded to love her in the agape love, not the phileo. And here's the thing, if, you know, there's no doubt that we've all done something wrong in our life, right? We all sin, right? But even with us starting off our relationship, wanting to get married, a year or so down the road, is we were still walking in the wrong direction. But here's the power of God's true love, is God gave us the chance for redemption by allowing us to come back into the garden by true submission to him.
Yep.
Okay? Because the last thing I ever want to do is live a marriage and just say we're living marriage, we're 30, 40 years into it, we're 50 years into it. Congratulations, you get a year marriage, a yearly marriage medal. Okay, we'll give them a belt like I got last time, right? Okay, but that's not what God created marriage for. And the true purpose of marriage, and I'm going to tell you why I married her. Not because I just love her, not because she respects me, okay? It's because when I truly understand that God's purpose for marriage was to bring glory to him. That's it. That is it. Biblically, that is the only reason God created marriage, was to bring glory and holiness to him. Man has made the whole ring thing, the vows, the go to the altar. Adam and Eve never went to an altar. The moment God made Eve from Adam's flesh, they became one flesh. That was the biblical model of marriage. But it was ultimately to do one thing, and that was to bring holiness to God. And so when we were going through all our difficulties, knowing that we said we wanted to get married, already had a ring on the finger, but yet everything was still going wrong in our life, I finally drew the line in the sand. I said, unless we're going to do this God's way, I'm not doing it. That was it. That's all I said. Okay? And it was not about, you're going to do it my way, because it wasn't my way. I was showing her that I'm going to truly submit to God the way he has called me to submit to him, because the only way, men and ladies, listen up, the only way you're going to get your wife or your future wife to submit to you is by you submitting to God.
And with
Period.
that, yes, and with that being said, it was almost like, of course, I was all for it. I was like, okay. But it was almost like, I didn't want to call his bluff, but I wanted to see if he was serious. Like, I wanted to see, because look, it's all about your actions. And what did I say earlier? What you do is how you do everything, right? And so if I was going to make a decision to marry him and be with him for the rest of my life, I needed to know that he was ready to commit to God 100%. And when he did, I'm telling you, he was like, that's it. He was like, it's God's way or no way. And I was like, it's about time. That's basically how I felt. And then I was like, okay, and we separated, certain things and whatnot, because we wanted to stay in the biblical standpoints, and so, but I needed to show his actions showed me everything. I'm sorry?
I'm here like certain
Well, he slept on a couch, I slept in a bed. Like, we separated, but like his actions showed me that he was serious, and he was serious. And by him doing that, it changed everything, not only for me, but for us. And when I tell you, everything that we were struggling with, everything that was breaking us apart, everything that was keeping it like just chaotic and unhealthy, it broke off. And when I tell you that we felt so like light, like I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Why can't we do this a long time ago?
And I was like, oh my gosh. And that's what happens. Like, it's God is love, and love is God. Like, it's just, you can't not have it without him, you know?
So,
Oh. Me.
And I guess I'm just curious, what does respect look like? Like, what does respect look like in your guys' marriage? As far as like actions go for you, because when I think of respect, even like looking it up, it's like some words are like reverence, some words are admired. So I'm thinking, I feel like I admire my husband all the time.
so
That's a really,
go ahead, and then I'm going to answer.
that is a great question, okay? And every man is different. So the way he receives respect is going to be different from anything. So the way that I speak to him, that's one. It's not necessarily like I'm going to speak to him like he's a child. Like I I wouldn't want to do that, period. But let's just say if we weren't in a good place and I spoke to him that way, what you think's going to happen? He's going to feel disrespected, you know? Also too, like when we are,
I guess it's more so because I think I can feel like as women, like how I guess maybe it's more so for Joe. Joe, what does respect look like for you?
that's good. Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm glad that you asked that. Respect is nothing more than appreciation.
Yeah.
And what is appreciation?
Okay.
That's- yeah.
So, all right. We look at Michael. I'm going to use Michael for an example. Okay. All right. Michael's got the hat turned backwards. He's got the long beard. He's got the matching shoes.
They
He
do
always
match,
does.
yeah.
Okay. He's always matching. Whatever hat he's wearing, he's got shoes that match, right? Okay. If I looked at Michael, and Dr. Obam does this when he travels, looks like a bum. Looks like nobody. Okay, not dressed nice. And when I'm saying dressed nice, you know, something more like this right here, right? He's not drawing attention to himself. Okay, so if I looked at Michael this way, I'm like, dude, what do you know, man? You're freaking wearing a t-shirt and a hat backwards. You know, I show him a no appreciation. All right, But the moment I find out Michael's a 7-figure earner, I'm like, dang, dude, that's props, man. That's good stuff, dude. How does that make you feel? Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. And here's the thing. Ladies, you want to get your husband to do anything in the house? How many ladies here have asked their husband or told their husband to do something and it took them 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 6 months, 6 years to do
I'll be
it?
the first one to raise my hand.
Okay? All right?
I left and I was like telling my husband some things there.
Yeah,
And I was like,
so-
what are you gonna do while I'm gone?
So-
thinking of like what work are you
Yeah. So here's the thing. Is this right here. All right? If she asks me to take out the trash, all right, and I don't do it, okay? Day 2, hey, I told you to take out the trash. Day 3, whatever the case is, and it starts an argument. Here's the thing what men really want, okay, is what happens is when I finally get around to taking out the trash, this is normal households right here. Finally, you did it. It only took you 3 days.
Yeah.
Now, does that make anybody in the room appreciate it?
No.
No. But the moment that he does it, if you say, thank you so much, I really appreciate that you did that. You can go mumble under your breath saying, well, it took you 3 days, okay? Just don't let him hear that. But here's the way to get a guy to do anything for you at any times, okay? If I'm over here, and this is not something she asked me to do, but if I'm over here straightening up the kitchen counter, I'm like, man, this is a little out of order. I got some cough drops, got my granola bar for my grocery list, you know? And then she says, babe, thank you so much for doing that. That makes me feel appreciated, okay? And ladies, you do that no matter what it is, especially when you don't ask him to, okay? And sit there and say, hey, I appreciate you doing that. I promise, and we're going to get in this on Saturday about when we break up in groups, okay, is the practical application of this is I promise you will get your man to start doing anything in the house and anything for you. Baby, I love it when you buy me new things. It does all the time.
So with that being said, and I'm in agreement with him, but also, let's just say that he does something. I'm, you know, baby, can you take out the trash? But he doesn't take out the trash, but he does something different, right? Like he does something that wasn't even on the task list to do. And you really need to get those done, but he does something, okay? And you're like, okay, you know, you have to make a decision right then and there. You know, okay, do I scold him and, you know, bring him down and tell him, oh my gosh, like you can't even check out the trash. Do you not see it's overflowing, blah, blah, blah. Nothing but criticize. And what is that going to do to him? It's going to deflate him, right? But then when you see, okay, he put in an effort. It may not be in the area that I really wanted, okay? But the fact that he put in that effort, I'm like, look at him go. And I'm like, thanks, babe, you're awesome.
Appreciate
you know? And he's like, no, he's like, you're welcome, babe. And I'm just like, it's fine, I'll just go take out the trash.
That's how she got me washing dishes on a regular basis. Hey, thank you so much. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dr. Obama.
I have something I want to share, and then maybe you can, because somebody might ask again. This is for you, Julie, but everyone else. Like respect and love is the same, and to answer the question, it's really so. If the woman loves him, she'll put his needs before her own. If he respects her, and now he puts her needs before his own.
It's serving each other.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So great question. And I want to continue on just for our time's sake. So here's the last thing. Remember what I told you, there was 3 of them, right? Okay.
Yep.
The last principle is being able to take knowledge and wisdom, the first 2 principles that we talked about, and putting it together. Okay. And I know y'all paid close attention to Dr. Obama, especially throughout today and yesterday, but also the other masterminds. He talks about this all the time. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Now look at this. This is so powerful right here. Okay? This is a biblical example of how a marriage should be. By wisdom, a house is built. Through understanding, it is established. And by knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasure. How many of you love coming home, ladies, to a house that's peaceful?
Me.
Men, how many do you love coming home to your house that's peaceful? Even if you're the only one that comes in. Okay? Listen, I still want to come home and be like, man, this place is nice. Okay? But I'll kid you not. There was a time in our relationship that it wasn't like that. I dreaded coming home.
And I dreaded
I would either stay later for work or I wouldn't answer her text messages. And I'd be parked 2 houses down, sitting in my own car, sometimes crying, sometimes listening to worship music, sometimes doing nothing, sleeping, just because nothing was beautiful about it.
And that makes me so sad.
You know, but it's by wisdom a house is built. So wisdom is the application. You cannot apply what you do not understand, and you cannot understand what you do not know.
Apply. Yeah.
And that right there will preach.
Let's go,
Okay?
Blue.
So, you know, we're here over the next 4 days, and we're constantly learning things. But here's the thing. Dr. Obama has given us wisdom, the application part of this, right? The step-by-step on how to grow. But if we don't have the knowledge to write the book, then the book never comes a part of the application. If we don't have the understanding or the comprehension of the knowledge, then the pieces of the 2 don't go together. You can't have one of these 3 separately. Wisdom builds a house. So let's talk about a house for example. You got to have a foundation, right? Okay? The first thing they do in ever building a house is not pouring concrete. They got to get the land prepared. They build it up depending on where you're at. And then, once it's all staked out, the holes are here for the toilet and the shower and the gas line and all this different stuff, okay? That's the knowledge piece of it, right? Is the information. Then comes the understanding, pouring the foundation, putting the walls up. You can't have walls without a foundation. You can't have a roof without a wall. So that's the understanding, the comprehension of the knowledge. And then the last thing is the wisdom. It's built all together. Because across the street, they're building a convention center. It looks great now, but I'm sure 5 months ago, you're like, what in the world is that? How many of you have ever driven by that they're building something, you're like, oh, I get it now.
You kind of wish they
it.
had like a
You know?
sign that like says like coming soon, but sometimes they don't. You know?
I'll do that to my kids. My son will hand me a drawing. I'm like,
Looks good.
what is it, son? Oh, Daddy, it's you standing on a tree. Oh, I get it. Oh, that looks so good. Man, yeah, I get it. Okay? I had to have the knowledge first. Son, what is it? Okay? And that's what we have to do in everyday life. And I'm telling you, all right? Men, you want to have an effective business? Be an effective leader.
Yep.
You want to have an effective business? Be an effective husband. You want to have an effective business? Be an effective father if you have children. Because all 3 of them correlate. When we were struggling, so was my business. When we were struggling, so were me and my relationship with my kids. All 3 of them are interlinked. You can listen, I don't care. Oh, I make 7 figures. My business is doing great. Well, do you enjoy going home? Well, no, I'd rather stay at work and continue. One will always make the other one suffer. You might have seasons that things go great. But I'm telling you, marriage was created more than just coming home and be like, hey, babe, I'm so glad we're married. Can you make me dinner now? Like, oh, I don't really want to be here. You know, marriage is more than just being together for an amount of years when you know good and well there's no chemistry there. There's no lovemaking there. I promise you right now, I will outbeat Dr. Obama when it comes to lovemaking until I'm in my hundreds. I don't care. Okay? I don't care.
He went
Why?
there.
Win, bro.
He went there. He did it.
My wife's Mexican. I don't have to do nothing.
Okay? But I also want to But I also want to outdo the fact of loving her. It's a competition between us, us serving each other. It's a healthy competition.
Yep.
Okay? It's funny because how many of you have ever been in an argument with somebody? Okay, we all have. How many were the first ones to say sorry? Okay, now I know where my liars are at. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, I get this question all the time with couples, working with couples. Well, when we get into an argument, who needs to apologize first? I'm like the more mature one. So I'm always racing. I'm like, sorry, babe. Sorry. I'm the more mature one. You know, we make that a competition between us. Now it's definitely heartfelt, okay? But we do. Why? Because we don't need to be in that so to say.
Yeah.
During our own marriage. So when I truly knew and understand that my marriage is based off of bringing holiness to God, it changed my whole perspective of how I want to live every single day with her.
Yep.
I don't want to just be married. The ring means nothing. That's man-made. Our vows mean nothing. Okay? It's words. But it's what I'm saying from my heart that's in connection with God.
Yep.
Now, most of you know that we got married back in March, okay, but we're doing our big wedding ceremony in 2.5-ish weeks, okay, 2 weeks tomorrow, okay? But here's the thing, I told her so she wasn't caught off guard. I says, I'm not writing my vows.
I say what?
Okay? I'm not going to script them out, but it's going to blow you away. You'll see a video. When it's done, it's going to blow you away to how I go about doing them because it's going to come straight from here. Not that writing down doesn't. Okay? But there are things that I know that I want her to know and understand that's more than just writing things on a piece of paper. You know? Not only am I going to do it out loud like that is because if all of y'all were here, okay, I would want all of you to keep me accountable to what I say to her because I know she'll go and tell you. All right? So, wisdom. Now, here's the application part right here that we want to be able to just present to you guys. All right? Is we have I've got to look back at the dates because I did forget. Please forgive me. All right. I have to wait till after the wedding and the honeymoon and all that good stuff. Okay. It's going to be in October. All right. Okay. Is our Reigniting Intimacy and Connection, our virtual event. Okay. It's a one-day event. But here's the thing. Our marriage deserves the best of each other, not the rest of each other. I don't want her coming home giving me what she has left over
we
after her gym
leftovers.
and her massage therapy clients and after she's dealt with the kids. I want her to give me 100% of what she has. It may not be 100% of her.
But it's the best though.
But it's the best at what she can give me. Babe, I've only got 25% to give you. Well, you know what, babe? I'm rocking today. I've got 75%. Together we're 100. So what makes us uniquely qualified? All right, we've been through the trenches. Y'all have heard a lot of our story. Her going through a bad divorce, me losing my wife. Okay, together over 21 years of marriage together. All right, if years mean anything. Okay, we discovered our way to breakthrough, and we live in a marriage worth coming home to. But here's the thing: more important than this right here. The words on this mean absolutely nothing. But here's what does, and I want to tell you about this video I'm going to show you. It's about a minute long of a prophetic word that Rachel and I got a month ago, a little over a month ago. And I had just ended a 5-day water-only fast, okay? And I was really seeking out God. I'm like, God, what direction do you want us to go in marriage? You know, a year ago, we were talking about men leadership. Then we talked about, when we sat down back in March, we were talking about godly fathers and men and leadership. And then all of a sudden it evolved into marriage. And then I'm like, okay, God, what direction in marriage do you want us to go? Because there's so many, there's the healthy ones. There's the ones that are shattered. There's the ones that are divorced. There's the ones like, I don't even know, I got a shovel already with a hole in the backyard. Okay? All right? But here's the thing. Okay?
But it's true that
All right.
they have marriages in that place. It's sad.
Yeah, some of y'all live in the country. You know good and well what you can do in the country. Y'all can bury somebody and not even know it for 10 years.
Something might already have been buried out there. You never know.
And you know women are like archaeologists, right? Y'all know that, right? They're always digging up the past. I had to say that during the whole digging thing. All right. So,
Well, anyway, the clip that we're gonna show y'all, it is something that we were praying for, we were striving for. We were like, come on, God, like if you're not there, we don't want to be. Okay, we need to know. And so we'll just let y'all watch it and let y'all see.
Son, my hands on you. I've redeemed you not once, but twice. You're a hard worker. You've known hard work since your boyhood. You did not come up in the easiest way, says the Lord. You lacked a lot of nurture, to say the least. About the only nurture you got was from yourself. There was even a grandmother in your life that would slip in. But I want you to know I'm going to use you, says the Lord. And there's a discipleship grace that's going to mark your life. You're going to have a unique ability, says the Lord, to see men transformed by my spirit and my power. That you and your wife, I'm going to use you as my answer to shattered marriages. There will come counsel and wisdom and blessing on you. I'm even moving supernaturally in your sight. I'm going to use you there. I mean, you're not a weak man. There's no quit in you. You've known what it was to be quit on 2 times, says the Lord. Quit on relationally with devastating effects. But you're the kind of man, when the going gets tough, you just get tough too. I'll bless you. I'll use you. A gift of faith is curling around in your life. I'm going to restore you, bless you, anoint you. My powerful presence is going to come on you. You've come into the days of restoration.
so that's just.
I still get choked up every time I see it. By the way, we've never met him. That's Pastor Jim at the church that we go to. Like he comes in and stuff like that, and we've never met him. And we sat up in the front, and I felt it. Like I saw him. Like you know how when you somewhere and you're up here and you're looking and like they look at you and they keep going. And it's just I'm like, oh, he's gonna do it. And then when he came off the stage and he looked at us again, I was like, oh. And then he just like walked up to us. He's like, what are y'all names? And I was like, oh. But the fact that it happened, it was like, yes, God moment. It was like, thank you for pointing us in the direction. Not necessarily it's going to be the ongoing, but it's the start of the direction that he wants us to go in. And I'm happy. I'm happy I get to do this with you. I'm happy to be in front of all of you because I'm growing in my own self to be up here to talk and just for he and I to continue to grow and develop our coaching and to glorify God at the same time. Like it does, nothing beats it.
Yeah. So, thank you. So some of you here today may be like, well, I don't have a shattered marriage. And that's great. I'm excited. But here's the thing, all right? Without knowledge, okay, when we get into a certain circumstance, how do we know how to get out of it?
Right.
How do we prevent it from ever happening? Okay? And so ultimately in our virtual event, and I'll continue to move forward, is here's what your guys are going to learn. Life's roller coaster and understanding your partner. I don't know who today, regardless of how long you've been married, can't learn more about understanding your partner.
Yep, I agree. Mm-hmm.
God's purpose of marriage after God, and then intimacy. And I'm not talking about just sexual intimacy. I'm talking about intimacy with each other, but out of the confines of inside the bedroom, underneath the sheets, but also in the confines of the intimacy with God. And so what we're going to reveal to you guys is going from chaos to clarity, effective methods to build new cycles that are serving us as well as serving each one of you as a mentor and a coach, even if you lack communicating or not communicating at all. We're going to reveal methods that bring your marriage back from the abyss and transform your home to a battleground worth fighting for. That out of the garden experience to back inside, because I'm telling you, you can go from one to the other, no matter how long you've been married for. or even if you're not married. And I encourage those that aren't yet is knowing and understanding the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom to apply now before you make that commitment. Because here's the thing. Does anybody know here how long often a divorce happens in the world? Not the United States, in the world. Does anybody know? Throw out some numbers. Somebody said too many.
Every 27 seconds.
Every 27 seconds.
Every minute.
Every minute. Anybody else? Every 36 seconds, a divorce happens.
That's too much, y'all.
But yet,
I'm sorry.
Why? We don't have the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom on how to live a godly, centered, successful marriage. We don't, and we don't apply it. So we want to be able to, even if it feels like hell on earth and you're ready to give up, we want to be able to help you transform your home as a battleground worth fighting for. We're going to implement methods that transform your marriage from old crazy cycles to harmonious cycles of love and passion, even if you think turning your relationship around is hard. Listen, somebody asked me not too long ago, really great dear friends of mine, and they're getting a divorce. And I asked the gentleman, I says, is there any chance? And he says, no, it's too far gone. And he says, do you think God can help? And I says, nothing is too far gone for a God that resurrects the dead. You know, so even if you feel that way, I truly believe different. So you're to discover how to reignite love and passion as you first dated and become lovers once again. Build a marriage worth fighting for, not fighting with. And the ceasefire, honor, not surrender and run, but honor each other, love each other, respect each other. So again, the Marriage Revival virtual event, life's roller coaster, understanding your partner, God's purpose of marriage, which we talked about today, marriage after God, that's pursuing, that's chasing, that's developing, okay? Men, I'll tell you this real quick. Our job is not only to protect our wife and lead our wife, but it's also, the Word of God says, to wash her with the Word of God. If you're struggling in your marriage, ask yourself, am I washing my wife with the Word of God? Ladies, if you're struggling in your marriage, ask yourself, is my husband washing me with the Word of God? So it covers over 13 lessons, which we broke it down. But here's the thing, all right? It's valued at $7,500. It's one full day, all right? We decided to go from a 2-day to a one full day and really just compact some things in. We're not cramming anything in, okay? But we're compacting some things into really deep dive into some areas that people are struggling with. So, but for you guys, okay, I know it says 2-day up there, I apologize. The value is $7,000. Our Alpha Leadership community on Facebook is worth $500. But here's what I'm doing, because Dr. Obam loves us and loves you guys, is we're knocking that all the way down. It's $97.
What?
$97, okay?
Stop it.
And that don't even pay for our time, but the reason why we put a value to it, because I want you to put a value to your own life.
Yep.
I want you to put a value to your own relationship.
You deserve it.
Okay, and so that's what we have for you guys. We would love for you guys to be a part of it. I'll get you the dates before Saturday once we finalize it, and you can register with us this week while we're here. We love you guys. We're so thankful for this, but I just want to encourage you, take the knowledge, take the understanding, okay? Knowledge, Genesis 1 and 2. That's the biblical model of a marriage, okay? But here's the thing, and Dr. Obama will tell you this. It's great to know knowledge from both sides. How to do this and how not to do it. Okay? We're all here learning something how to do this weekend, right? We all agree?
Yeah.
Learning how to grow our business, how to scale our businesses in 12 months to 7 figures, how to apply the different things, okay? But why are we ultimately all here? Because we've also learned how not to do it. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Some of us took a lot longer. Some of us kept on going course after course after course, okay? We want this to be the course for you guys that you never have to look anywhere else.
Yep.
Because that prophetic word, all right, wasn't just an answer to prayers. It was an assignment.
Yeah.
And when God assigned you to do something, He doesn't look for the qualified. He qualifies who He has chosen. I love you guys. We love you both.
Love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good job, buddy.
Oh, don't you leave. Stay right there.
I saw you. I was like, I'm staying. Oh, we having a moment.
He's been playing that song back there.
Have to do it. Give them a round of applause one more time, y'all. Hello. Love you guys. All right, cool beans. All right. Oh, so he's putting this plan together. So I got this piece here before they go. This ain't no regular nothing, whatever. Okay, he's got this plan going.
Oh, jeez.
Get this plan
Mexico.
going. Oh, yeah. Yes, Mexico is the first piece. So who wants to go to Mexico for 7 days and learn all of that? Straight from the heart.
Straight
Just saying,
from the heart.
This is what we're working on for that.
What we're working on.
By the way, so that's gonna right now. That's $5,000. Okay, y'all. It's $7,500, but you're gonna sell to Mexico for $5,000. What I came up for was mainly because that offer right there. That's the Bentley Club offer. That's the family offer. So outside of here, what is it? That $997.
Yeah.
Which is cool. If you want to give them a deal, $497. That's great outside of here. However, the book though, by the way, you guys got to get the book, right? Which I wrote down the name.
Just go get it.
Good. Oh yeah, keep it in the garden.
Oh,
Keeping it in the garden.
Right? Which
I
is
like it.
I like that.
I
You
do.
guys might do a photo shoot where you're like in between the grass, where it's like, you know, you have on like a bikini, something, and it makes it look like you're naked on one side. You're Eve, right? Kind of reaching.
Let me just help.
Right? You know, like your
Yeah.
hands like this, kind of like reaching for him, right? And it's a picture shot, right? Of it right there. That's the cover.
Oh. Oh, I'm the cover. Oh.
No, you and him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. So you're on this side, and he's on this side, reaching arms up, and you're kind of reaching arms down in the glass. So from the look, it's like, hey, it's a very exciting, inviting cover.
Right?
And the whole book, obviously, is the blueprint of the course.
Yeah.
And I'll show you guys
Inside the
more how
garden.
you already know that. That's keeping it in the garden, right? The whole piece and like
Keeping it in the
everything
garden.
around that, because you opened it, I was like, oh, it's a fantastic opening. And I'll send you the link for the song, but it's a lot. You talk about straight from the heart. And we got straight from the heart. That's all in there. So you got that in the book, like the minimum offer if you had the book right now, right?
Yeah.
$197.
Got it.
And the whole purpose of this now, when you do this, which by when is it? What day is it going to be?
It's gonna be in October, mid-October. I don't have the date yet.
Okay, cool. That's cool. That's all right. So I'm gonna register so my wife and I could be there. That's her birthday gift present, right, baby? Right. So it's a relationship retreat, bro. We're doing it on the line, and then we're gonna do it in Cancun.
I'll sign up for Cancun for sure.
Sweet. See, she already signed up for the high ticket program. Check. And I'm signing up for this. Who's the cheapo?
Sorry.
So I'm gonna register for that. Saturday, if you guys would, here's my thing. Here's what I would recommend. Can I sell this for them a little bit? Mm-hmm. I would recommend, Anna and I, for the past, up until COVID, since we met, even when we were dating, we attended one relationship retreat or event a quarter, so 4 a year, for 10 years straight.
I just got something.
Okay.
Remind me.
I will. See? Which probably means like, here's what I would recommend too, Joe. As part of our partnership, we do a book bundle. We got Passion 365 and Keep It in the Garden.
Yes. Let's do it.
I really like that title. I'm sorry. It's
Because
just,
it's something
Keeping it in the
freaking
garden.
dope. Right?
it's.
How many of y'all would buy that book?
I mean,
All right, right now.
just
Pre-order,
saying.
there we go.
Right?
Keeping it in the garden.
Right? That's Keeping It in the Garden, and that's, you guys already know what the book looks like. So take pre-orders this weekend, right?
All right.
Everybody, a super pre-order piece, $197 instead of $97. That's for the book, because you gotta go get the book done. Right? How many of you guys want to do the book? Okay, cool. And the thing, so I'm good. I'm in too. So we're there. I get that's one of her birthday gifts.
There we go.
Right, so there we go. I'm already done. And
To your house.
right,
Pick it up.
yeah, we'll pick it up at the house. We'll be there in 2 weeks. But I'm excited about this. Like, so because we committed to that in our relationship, like they're doing, on it, that's how we made our first million, or earned it rather. Was in the because we've done so much in our relationship, and everybody was telling us do this, do this, do this, do this, so we did it anyway. We did business for them. What I'm so excited, I told y'all they were amazing, right? Can y'all give them a round of applause? Right? I want to give you guys something like a psychology piece though that happened. Joseph dropped the price, $7,500 of the value of what it is. Showed you the normal price, $9.97. Took out the 9 and put it at 97, and some of your hearts were like, for some reason you decided in your mind, because I felt the energy. Like, okay, I'm not really not doing it. Like, how much real value is there? What you're not understanding for a little bit of what there is 21 years of their struggle, trauma, and drama, as they're rolling this out. This is the baby. And they're like, we're giving away to our community. Like, literally.
Did I say it too loud?
You did. So, if there's anything I could force or coerce, it's that. So y'all need to find, like, when you get the link, Cash App it on or whatever.
I got it.
$197. That means when the book comes out, you can get the first copy, you can get all that other stuff. June of next year, when this, because it's the online thing, you might, I don't know, take it, because they're gonna need your testimonials. I'm teaching you how to negotiate now. They're gonna need your testimonials. So ask them for half off of their next program. For your testimonials, right?
Absolutely.
But for the Cancun event, you can't get more than $500 off. It'll be like $4,500 to go to Cancun. Why? Because I know the profit margin.
Let's just keep it
Right?
real.
So I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, right? So then just think about it this way. How many of you have someone you love or someone you want to love right now? Okay? Would you
better put your
pay,
finger.
honestly, would you pay $5,000 to spend a week in Cancun on a vacation?
Yes. With the person that I love, yes.
Right? All inclusive, right? All this other stuff, and learn more about marriage. Yeah? Okie dokie. Well, I'm gonna be there. Anna's gonna be there. They're gonna be there. Huh?
When is it?
Sometime in February.
Sometime in February, around Valentine's time frame.
Valentine's, yeah.
Love month.
The love
That's
month.
the best, that's literally the best month to do a marriage retreat.
It is. We know.
That's
We've tried this a couple times in Hawaii. So this week, here's what I'd love to do for you guys. If you want to be in that one, because you know, like this for Cancun, literally is going to be the least it's ever going to be. Y'all know that, right? So take it in its infancy. So this weekend, please go. What we teach, I'm giving you guys a revelation. What we do. That's why we don't do hard sales. Build the relationships. For some of you, if you need to, I would say get a funding, get a funding. Do
See
a
Margie.
payment plan. But if you need it, see Margie. Get 50 grand. Get Minty Million, because we're going to offer it to you for like less than half off. You get both of them, BOFF, both of them together. And we can all, we go all together. So I'm doing this here, selling, because that's the edict, all the parts, so he can see it, how to break his deal down in the future also.
Yeah.
Because when you guys see him again and they like, going like, all right, don't say I didn't warn you, because it's never going to be that price ever again for the whole resort. And you guys also realize I just upsold his virtual into the physical, right? If he playing around with it, I just forced him to do it. Did y'all notice that? Okay, good.
Oh, it's happening.
Right? So
It's happening.
here's what's good with that though. If you're gonna be my partner, I want my partner to succeed.
Yep.
And sometimes partners push each other.
That did not sound like
Inspire.
Pushy.
It don't make no sense. Why is not?
excited, so my words are slipping. Listen.
Hey, y'all are wearing pink glasses right now. You need to put on the blue. Put on the blue glasses. Put on the blue glasses. See how he was seeing it.
Right? Let me tell you. All right, so.
Because right in here.
Okay, yeah. No. 3 things. I gotta tell y'all what just happened, okay? So I was just now old when I glanced over there and realized they're wearing their branding colors, like outfit. Right? I was just now old, right? When I was like, what? Right? So I'm like,
Michael saw it a long time ago.
Then when I looked at it, I saw it in the branding colors, I was like, had a realization, like, Afia was sitting here, it's not here, but here in the house in March, right? The table was like here. Joseph was like, Joseph came as a client to launch his alpha leadership. It still is. For himself. And that's what just like, I got emotional because she came to support him. And before the event was over, they had a business together. June was the practice and now they own that shit. So like in that moment, I'm like, okay, it's moving, we need to move fast. We need to sprint because she's extremely marketable, man. Look at her. Right?
Stop.
She's a
boss babe.
Facts. She's extremely marketable. Sex sells. That's why you gotta have that book cover. People are just gonna pick up the book just to do it. They're gonna get to your purpose because you got a hot ass wife.
And he works hard at that.
Right?
She does.
I'm
And
really
here's the
modest.
thing. These are all pieces in business that you have to utilize what you have to profit and go. Like, he's not parading his wife. It's just natural. You look at Rachel, look at her legs. You like, she works at it, right? But if a dude looks at his wife, like I'm the guy that loves guys checking my wife out because I'm like, yeah, I'm getting them hit that tonight. You can look all you want. Right? That's where my head is.
We can't take
so
home.
when I see this, I saw that, I'm like, I'm putting it all together. I'm like, literally just a few months ago, this was an idea that he had from something he wanted to work. They were going to pray about it. They were going through a whole lot of stuff, right? His wife came to support him. And then she saw the vision and was like, this is something we in a discussion. Because of who we are, we refocused and rebranded them into building a business together like that, and now they're good. So I'm like, holy smokes, I wish I had a mentor like me when we were in that space. It took us 5 years to do what they just did within the last few months. That's why I'm so excited when my words are slurping, because I'm like, bro, right? Because listen, next year when like, it's game over. By June, they should already have 2 to 3 like events. Notice I'm pushing the envelope again, right? Yeah. So, because
Always happening.
I'd love for them to, at a minimum, generate $100 grand, minimum at that time. That's just a couple people. It's 3 small events. Like, hey, if all of us, that's like, all right, let's just say 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40. We need one more couple who's recruiting. Somebody, 50 grand at an event. Hey, pay whatever that gets done, still at least walk away with 25 in your pocket. It's not a bad deal. With no upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no upset. So, which reminds me now, when that happens, thanks Mike, appreciate that.
It'll be an upsell.
At the event, what are you gonna sell? Your yearly membership.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, figure it out. You guys get it down and give them the books and the this and the that. And, yeah. All right, so
I wanna interject for a second. I want to go back to when that was my first underdog event, and that night when them two were sitting at the table, y'all were there for hours.
9.
Hours. And you know, I was there. You know, I was dealing with my own internalness, with my own self, and so I was struggling about like what direction I was going to go in. And I mean, if not a whole lot of you know, but I've been in the fitness industry for years, and I love it. I do, but I just feel, and I felt for a long time, that there's so much more to me than just that. you know? And so I'm like, okay, God, like, you gave me this skill, you gave me this talent, maybe I'm using it in the wrong place, you know? And so being there, watching him grow, I love watching him do his thing, because I'm just like, look at him go, you know? And then, like, I'm so proud, you know? He's so grown up now. Anyway, so
I know, right?
I was just so happy. And so, but then in that process of that happening, let me tell you, like, I'm like, whoo, man, like, I can stand here and say that I'm pretty confident within myself, but that is an area where I lacked confidence, because I've been so used to being in the fitness realm that I was very confident in that realm, you know? So here I am, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being not tested, but I'm being pushed. I'm being inspired to do something completely out of my normal. And do I have the skills and stuff? Yes, but it's taken me to another level within myself that's just gonna excel me forward. And so here we are today. And look,
Didn't she rock it today talking?
Did I?
She did.
Well, I'm just saying. and look, and Joseph, he pushes me, and there's times when that Marine comes out of him sometimes, and I don't necessarily like being pushed that way, but then I'm just like, oh, you know, because he's right though. I hate it when he's right. But anyway, so, but like, it makes me like better, you know? So not only am I keeping him accountable, but he pushes, inspires me, because that's part of his job as a husband. Is to push me to elevate me into the woman that God's created me to be. Because by him doing that, it's just going to push him even further up the ladder, you know? So it both goes hand in hand. Yeah.
And for those that are considering the event, ask Michael, he was there. Did I deliver more than $97 worth? Yeah? Always.
It's the $7,500.
I know, right? I know.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. I know it took up some of their time. I just got too emotional. All right, we're not like, no, for real.
We're pulling on them strings today.
But as you guys know, we don't do norms. But
Thank
we're gonna
you.
come back.